Let me start this off proper with an introduction. No bluffing in the front, just facts on the subject. I'm a man with one plan, stand up for something. And when I can, I lend a hand without thinking of it. I'm the beginning of hip-hop's revolution. He's other than a few.
We are in my studio, and I've had a lot of questions on how I use this stuff. Gloss gel medium. I do not use it as a clear coat. I actually mix it with my paints. What you want to look for is the transparency, and I personally like the gloss and the thick qualities, and all that stuff is on the back. If you look at that, that's probably fuzzy, but anyway. So if you look on the back, you want thick. I prefer thick, and gloss is what I'm playing with lately, and definitely transparent, because I will use a ton of this stuff to just a drop of paint, and I'll show you that. So how I work is, I've got this piece over here, right here. I'm going to put some black into this piece, but I want it very, very, very translucent. So I grab a bunch of this. I'll probably do about this much gel medium, right? And I want black. Now, I've always told never use black to create shadows, but you know what? I don't like to follow the rules, and I get it to work for me. So that's what we're gonna do. So I get some black eventually out of this thing. All right, so I've got some black right here. And I'm going to grab a very little amount. Black will go a long way. And I'll mix it in to here. Now, when the medium dries, it dries clear. But right now, it's acting like white. So I'm ending up with what looks like gray. But when it dries up, you'll get a translucent black. So it's kind of tricky to work with, because as you're applying it, your brain's thinking gray, but you got to think ahead 15, 20 minutes when it's dry and it becomes black. It'll make sense. I'll show you. Okay, so what I want to be doing is I want to throw some black in here, create some drop shadow in here. I just want to get some dark happening. So what I use is these rubber. I've been using palette knives, but lately I've been using a lot of this stuff. So I got this guy, which I can push and drag really thin layers. I've got a smaller version where I can sit in here and dab around. And I've got this really, really big one. It's all rubber, so I can pull really hard. And let's do that right now. So what I do is I get some going, and I'll lay in like this. And this is all about patience. Sounds stupid, everything's patience, but it really is. Thin layers is how I build my depth. Since I'm building translucent on translucent, you eventually can see the layers, and I will work so translucent that some of my paintings will have blue and yellow, but they make green when they cross over, and I never ever use a green pigment in the paint. It's just that they're so translucent, that's what I end up with. It's unintentional, but I really enjoy that it happens. And I kind of try to forget that it happens, because I'm not trying to achieve that. I'm just letting it happen. So as you can see, it's looking pretty rather gray. And it is confusing at first, but once it dries, and I'll time lapse that, once it dries, I'll get a nice thin layer of black that I can play with. And then what I'll do is I'll take some more teal or blue, and I will go over that black and go back and forth in thin translucent layers until I get what I want. All right, here we go. The gel medium dried, and this is what I get. So what you can see is it's not a super black, but it's translucent. So I'm going to add more and more layers. The darker I want it, I'll probably come back over it with some more teal blue stuff. I'll go back over it with some more translucent black. But you get the idea. Down here, it got really dark down here, which is what I wanted. But overall, I'm all about the translucency and the transparency and how colors can come through and show through different layers. That's all I got for you. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm just saying it's the way I do it. So, see you guys later.
Let me start this off proper with an introduction. No bluffing in the front, just facts on the subject. I'm a man with one plan, standing for something. And when I can, I lend a hand without thinking of it. I'm the beginning of. Let me start this off proper with an introduction. No bluffing in the front, just facts on the subject. I'm a man with one plan, standing for something. And when I can, I lend a hand without thinking of it. I'm the beginning of hip hop's revolution. It's other than a few.
We are in my studio, and I've had a lot of questions on how I use this stuff. Gloss gel medium. I do not use it as a clear coat. I actually mix it with my paints. What you want to look for is the transparent